carpet like this. There's different methods of how to seal this carpet together, but the best way is to actually join the carpet the way the carpet is manufactured, in rows. If I go in with a straight edge, and either cut from the back or cut from the top, I can actually shear across the pile. If I shear across the pile, that pile is just going to start falling out of that joint. If that joint fails, then it's a failure on the installation, and you might be looking at a replacement.
So that's going to cost me time, money, credibility to go back and get that job and correct again.
So if I use a road finder, I can just run that down the carpet, always working in the direction of the pile. And what this is doing is opening up that row. The more I go down, or the more I angle it down, it's going to open that row up even more.
So that method is used is not actually damaging the carpet at all, it's just separating the pile. So you do get different size row finders as well. So like I said, it's not damaging the carpet at all, it's just separating the pile.
So this works hand in hand with a loop pile cutter. Obviously we're not working with a loop here, but a loop pile cutter
will still do the same job as a cut pile when it's got.
Yeah. So we've got two blades, one on the right, one on the left, and we've got a millimetre through the middle which runs through that row. If I'm joining or cutting the right hand side, I've dropped the right hand blade. Adjusting the throats and the thickness of the backing. Bring that in. Just follow that right down. This is going to cut right against that pile, leaving hardly any backing. If I put the wrong side down, I'd actually end up with a millimetre of backing along that edge.
So he makes this method, he's cutting from the top, he's not folding the carpet over, he's not getting a straight edge and cutting the back of the carpet with a straight edge. He's using the tools that we've got. He's using what the equipment is for the trade as well. So with tools, it kind of, so I think you're using is it a crane?
Do you want, mate?
That's it, everybody, my wife's gone.
Yeah, just that back, mate. On the mixing desk. Go around the mobile. So what we do?
Where's your tools?
So we've got Robert's loop hole cutter. Robert's QEP. There are various ones on the market, they'll do the same job. Again, just bring that in. I've dropped the left hand blade on this one. I'm just going to run down this side. And just check your edge, make sure you haven't cut across any rows. Before you do anything, always make sure that joint's going to butt nicely together.
Right, I think we're back in live. A bit of technical issues, not a problem. It's like live TV, isn't it? There's the same they work with kids and dogs.
Yeah, which one am I? So I've cut those both edges, so always check to make sure that butts up nicely. This piece of carpet, obviously this is demonstrations, it's nice and easy, it's the same piece of carpet, but your joint piece is generally off another part of that roll. Carpet's not made straight, you can actually have bows in it. I could run this down, I could actually have a bow through there. Various different methods of doing this. If I create a bubble down one edge, the pressure of that will push that into that joint. We're only going to be working in about 6-inch stints through this joint. We've got control over the whole thing. Various ways, or a couple of ways, more than that now, 3 or 4 ways of seaming up now. We're going to be using the heat seaming method, which is probably the tried and tested and trusted way of doing it. A lot of floor layers use the heat seaming method. But you've got silver seaming as well. Every joint gets done the same way. You cut the joint the same way, you seal the joint the same way, and then all that's doing is applying heat to a tape underneath, and that sticks everything. So joints again should be done in accordance with BS 5325, which is your British standard for textile floor coverings, and that recommends that all joints are sealed. I'm using the Roberts gold tape on this. The foil is only there to help that adhesive stay molded for just a little bit longer, give me a little bit more work and time. So the tape is only sticking the back of the carpet. And tools are dangerous if used incorrectly. So the iron needs to be set properly.
So you also notice what Scott's doing, he's doing a joint on a hard surface, isn't he? So he's not getting that room prepped, he's not grabbing the carpet into the room, and he's not doing a joint on top of that underlay. Scott, why don't we do that joint on top of say for instance, a PU underlay?
The heat of the iron is going to melt the underlay. It's going to distort the joint, and you can't actually get the joint sort of nice and flat if you're working on top of an unstable substrate. So it gives us full control. So take your position. If I was working on a job site, obviously I've got walls and skirting boards there. It's all I need to do at both ends, fold the tape over, let that sit on top of the grip rods, and that allows me to put the iron on there and melt the adhesive. Now with carpets, obviously you need to put carpets under tension. You will not be able to stretch heat seam tape, so we need to actually tension this carpet beforehand.
So this is another key thing what we need to do. We need to put that carpet under tension first, then do the joint. So what Scott's got is got a couple of braddles. He's going to place it on the ends of that carpet. So he's not going to put the braddle in the middle of the carpet, so position down to the carpet. But he's also given himself enough room to put that seaming iron through the middle without damaging any of the oars as well. So with the heat seaming tapes, there's also like a bit of black strip normally going through the middle. It's just a bit of stitch, maybe a different colour stitch. Just shows you the middle of that tape, where you're going to put that joint as well, just to help you equal tape on either side of that joint. There is different grades of tape available as well, depends on what budget you've got, what the client expects as well. So there is another stage what we need to do, Scott, isn't there, before we actually go across with the iron?
Again, Brixton's recommends that any joint is sealed. As said before, the tape is sticking the back of the carpet. There's nothing to protect those cut edges. So we apply a seaming sealer or seaming cement. This is Robert's 815 seam sealer. Now run a bead of that.
So British standards 5325 state all joints must be sealed. So on the application bottle, you have two lids. One is just a general lid. Once you finish install, lid stops the glue coming out. The other lid is actually for the install process. It's shaped slightly different. So the end of that nozzle goes underneath the backing of the carpet, and that seaming sealer goes onto the back of the carpet.
This is going to lock all the pile into that backing. Just by applying a bead of it, use my finger and thumb to push it right in.
Be ever so careful none of that seam sealer goes into that pile of that carpet. So the piece to your right is already under tension, the piece to the left isn't. So now he has to put the other piece under the correct amount of tension as well. So after this demonstration, we'll be showing you guys hand-sewn ball noses as well.
I love this weave bit.
And a quick overview on stairs as well. But I think hand-sewn ball noses that sort of sets the job off, isn't it? It's doing everything correctly and offering an extra service for your end user.
Right, so that's now ready for the tape to be heated up. So with the heat seaming iron, we turn it on, and we don't whack it up to full blast. These irons should not go above the 3 on the dial. It's normally between 2 and 3. Most tapes will actually tell you how hot to have the iron. The iron is melting the adhesive and it's keeping it in a liquid form. As soon as we move the iron away, then the adhesive is going to start to dry off. If I have it on too high, it's going to cause the tape to start smoking all over the place, but it's also more importantly going to crystallise this adhesive. I should be able to leave the iron on there all day long. It's all it's doing is keeping that adhesive molten. Once that's melted underneath, I'm not going to go full length of the iron. I'm probably going to go around about 6 inches.
So we are Flooring Industry Training Association, FITA. All of our information is on fita.co.uk as well as the social media platforms as well for you guys to have a little look at. FITA's also got a selection of YouTube channels to go on and see a brief overview on what we offer as a company. Today they're going to be offering you guys 15% off courses. If you are a NICF or a CFA member, you will end up having a 25% discount on your course. If you want to know any more about the NICF, over to your left, there's Matthew Yerrell, the Vice President of the NICF. He will answer any questions that you've got. So has anyone got a business card with them today? What Matthew's doing is you put your business card in the little box for your chance of winning the key to DAB radio, charger and battery as well, Matthew. Is that correct? Yeah. So all you've got to do is put a card in a box. There you go, chance to win. Jason, if you do that for me, that'd be absolutely great, mate. We go halves. Whilst talking about competitions, in Hall C to your right is LVT Fitter of the Year competition hosted by the NICF. So in between demonstrations, please go there, have a little look, see what some of the work that's being produced. They due to finish at 2 o'clock, judging for 2 hours, and then the winner will be announced at 4 o'clock start, isn't it? Yeah, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
So as we're working along, I'm moving the iron across, but I'm looking at the backing. The backing needs to come down together. If the backing's gapping, it's going to show up and the piles can start falling away. If the backing's lipping, it's going to cause peaking. Just beyond the iron, I'm going to put the seam weight. This seam weight, we put pressure on top of that carpet, pushing it into the adhesive. So what we've got is a 7 kilogram iron weight on the top, we've got a Teflon base, and we've actually got a 10 to 15 mil gap in there. It's basically allowing all the heat to dissipate out of this joint.
Has anyone noticed what time it's taking to do this joint? He's taking his time to get that job as perfect as possibly can. So he's not rushing around, he's not wrapped the iron up to maximum temperature and running around. There's no smoke, is there?
Always working in the direction of the pile, as I said earlier, bringing that through, and just moving that weight behind it. If there is fullness in this joint, say if it's come off another piece of carpet and it's causing a bit of bubbling or a bit of peaking, this weight will put that peaking on either side. It's easier to stretch the carpet as opposed to this heat sink tape.
So the carpet we've got is a man-made product carpet. We've got kindly supplied by Carpet Flooring. As you walk around the show, there'll be new releases from all the manufacturers as well. So, for instance, Penthouse, they released a new loophole carpet, haven't they, Scott?
Yep.
They're on stand C7, so as you walk around, have a look at their new loophole carpet. It's pretty good.
So once we come to the end, bring the iron out. We've got time with this tape. And then you need to get yourself a rod, and then Rob cleans off the underside of the iron. If that clogs up with adhesive, that's going to start melting and putting excess adhesive on the next joint I do. And again, it's going to cause smoking. I'm not going to do anything with these just yet. I'll trim those off afterwards. I'll move the seam weight across. And one of the things we do see quite often is if Rob will be so kind as to look into my tool bag to his right hand side.
Don't feel like too much pressure.
You'll see that roller, mate. You know the one. That's the...
Well, hang on, Scott, what are we doing here?
I reckon we just go in with this and we give it a bit of that.
Oh, no.
Why not?
No, stop.
It's good.
How many times do you see that on site? They use a little roller, a little spiky roller, and put that under the hot pressure kit to try and make that joint look a little bit better. Why do you think we're not going to do that?
The reason we don't use one of these is whenever we're working with the carpets, we always work with the pile direction. Carpets, when they're both manufactured, the pile is generally straight. It gets set on an angle by heat. If I come in with this, I'll actually distort that pattern or distort that pile and I'll create another pattern in this carpet. On a velvet carpet, that would never come out. If I ran it the other way, then that dark line could actually stay in this carpet. So you always make sure you run in the direction. Also, this seam weight has got a white base on it. Whenever you produce heat, you produce moisture. If I use the toolbox or a household brick or a heat sealing iron box, if that's rusty, that is going to get into the pile of the carpet. So the right tools for the right job.
So even though Scott has a spiked roller in his tool bag, but that is for our next demonstration that we'll be showing you next, and we'll give you a little tip maybe how to use that tool next.
This was actually designed to run behind the iron and push that carpet into the adhesive. That's all it was ever designed for. I have got a flat, right, sorry mate. flat roller in the box as well. If I want to put a bit of pressure on it, I use a flat roller. But the weight actually does the job for me. I can do it just by putting pressure on with my hand as well. So if you do see a faint line in it, there's nothing in British standards that recommends invisible join. How many times have people heard invisible join?
The salesmen love it, mate.
Oh, you won't see that joint. If it's a white carpet, I'll guarantee you'll see that joint. We can only join a carpet the correct way. If it does go in invisible, happy days. If it does go in invisible, it's all you need to do. Well, not recommended, but just run another row through. The customer will say, I can see the joint. No, you can't. That's just a row finder.
So that joint takes a little bit of time to cool down before Scott's going to play around with that joint. So he's also going to get a piece of, or a pair of napping shears.
Front right inside.
So these napping shears will take off any little bit of excess. See like the little whiskers that are coming through the carpet, he's also going to use that to get rid of that. So he's not going to use his knife, he's going to use his napping shears for that one.
Give it a little bit of a haircut, which I do remember. It was a long time ago.
Long time ago. Hard paper round, wasn't it, Scott?
Yeah.
So as you can see, that joint looks pretty good, doesn't it?
So on the back, if the iron was on too hot, I'd actually see dark patches on the back of this tape. So that joint should be as strong as the carpet itself. The best time to do a joint is straight away. If I'm doing an area and I've got bay windows, alcoves, anything I need to join, I won't fit the floor first and then do the joints. Joints are a part and parcel of this industry. However, customers don't like joints and don't want joints. But economy-wise, with the cost of the carpet or the size of the carpets, dictate whether they have joints or not. If I do those joints first and the customer's not happy or I'm not happy with that, I've got excess carpet. If I've fitted everything, I'm committed. I can't actually do anything. If I do the join and I think, right, I want to redo this one, then I'll redo the join, just use the waste, move it across to the waste, and then once I'm happy with it, I can actually install that area.
So you just said you're going to do your join first, Scott?
Always first.
So that means that it's got a solid subfloor to work on that, do that join again before putting it on a bit of a PU undulate and metal undulate at the same time. So it's almost doing two jobs at the same time. And also waits that join to cool down, so then you can then refit that carpet under the correct amount of tension as well.
There's nothing stopping me from doing this joint in the warehouse before going out to the job. I've got a nice solid surface in the warehouse, do the joint first, I know the size of the plan, and then I can take the joint to site, give it time to cool down as well.
Yes, so if you plan and estimate the job correctly, so we can do the joint off-site, get the carpet to the project, acclimatise it as recommended by the British standards, and some manufacturers as well. So the carpet acclimatisation is also key for that process as well, isn't it, Scott?
Yep. We didn't do this joint for me, by the way.
No, so please don't look at the joints for you with your floor, because it's kindly given to us what we've got. So our next demonstration will be hand-sewn ball noses.